Good morning, Levi. This is Grandma. I thought we would read some stories today. I know that it's fall. Here, all the leaves are turning pretty colors and falling to the ground. And I thought we would start by reading a fall book. And it is called Splat the Cat and the Pumpkin Picking Plan. I wonder what is going to happen in this book. We're going to go to the first page. Autumn was one of Splat's favorite seasons. And there's Splat the cat. I'll help you rake the leaves, Mom, Splat offered. Thank you, Splat, Mom said. Splat was good at raking leaves. Seymour helped too. Soon, they'd made a huge pile. Splat stared at the pile. Suddenly, he had a great idea. His tail wiggled wildly. What do you think his idea is? Let's find out. Splat. Leaves went flying everywhere. Splat liked to jump in the leaves. Oh, look. Oh, no. Splat's mom sighed. I have an idea, Splat, she said. Why don't you go to Farmer Patch's pumpkin patch? You can pick out a pumpkin to decorate and put on our porch. Splat thought that sounded like a great idea. I'll pick the most perfect pumpkin ever, he promised. Let's see what happens next. Splat grabbed his wagon, and he and Seymour set off on their way. There they go to Pumpkin Patches, or to Farmer Patch's garden. Splat loved Farmer Patch's pumpkin patch. There was so much to see and do. He saw a very scary scarecrow. Do you see the scarecrow? That is pretty scary looking. He got lost in a hay bale maze. He tasted fresh apple and fish cider. Apple and fish cider doesn't sound really quite so good to me. Then Splat remembered he was supposed to pick out the perfect pumpkin. The perfect pumpkin should be big, orange, and round, he told Seymour. Do you think they'll be able to find one? He found a pumpkin that was very round and very orange. Too small, he announced. The next pumpkin was big and orange. Not round enough, he told Seymour. Seymour found a big round pumpkin. Not orange enough, Splat said. Splat's tail wiggled wildly with worry. Would he ever find the perfect pumpkin? But then Splat spotted another pumpkin. It was round. It was orange. It was the biggest pumpkin in the place. I wonder what it looks like. Oh my goodness. Perfect, Splat cried. Mom will love this one. But there was one problem. How was Splat going to get the pumpkin home? This won't fit in my wagon, Splat said. Oh my goodness, that's a huge pumpkin. And look, there's the wagon. Yeah. I know, he said. I'll roll it. My goodness. That looks like a lot of work. Splat rolled the pumpkin out of the gate. He rolled it on the road and down a hill. Whoa, Splat cried. Splat ran. The pumpkin rolled. The pumpkin wouldn't stop, no matter what Splat did. They're leaving. Oh, the pumpkin patch, and oh my. Help! Splat cried. Wow, Splat could steer the runaway pumpkin with his feet. He steered over a bridge and in between cars and right through his front gate. Finally, the pumpkin stopped. Splat's mom smiled. Oh, Splat, it's perfect, she said. Well done. Splat smiled back. It was no trouble, he said. No trouble at all. That was a fun book about Splat. Let's read another story. Should we read another story about Splat? We do have one more story about Splat called Splat the Cat and the Quick Chicks. I wonder what that's about. Oh yeah, there's Splat and Seymour right away. Splat's class had class pets, 12 chicken eggs. Very soon they would hatch, and then they would be chicks. The class looks happy that they have class pets. Mrs. Wimpy Dimple asked, would someone take the eggs home to watch tonight? Quick as a wink, every paw flew up. We'll pick sticks, Mrs. Wimpy Dimple said. Whoever picks the longest stick takes home the chicks. Who do you think is going to get the longest stick? One by one, every cat picked a stick. Plank picked a long stick. Kitten picked a longer stick. Splat picked the longest stick of all. Hooray! Mrs. Wimpy Dimple helped Splat get the eggs packed up. That seems like a really hard job that he's going to have to do. Just keep an eye on them and keep them warm, said Mrs. Wimpy Dimple. That will do the trick. Do you think he's going to be able to do that? Splat carried the eggs home slowly and carefully. No skips, no kicks, no quick sudden moves along the way. Oh, look, they took a light home to keep the eggs warm. Splat made the chicks a cozy nest in his drawer. At bedtime, Splat said, "Good night, chicks," and turned out the light. Click. Early the next morning, Splat woke with a start. He felt a peck on his ear. He felt a tickle on his foot. What happened? Splat looked in the nest. The eggs had hatched. The chicks were out and about. 2 chicks were on Splat, but where were the rest? Because there are still 10 chicks that hatched, but they were not on Splat. Cheep, cheep. Splat's ears pricked up. He followed the sound. He found 2 chicks in his warm, thick socks. Splat found 2 more chicks snuggled up to the clock. Tick, tick, tick. Splat looked in his toy corner. There was a chick in a truck. There was a chick in Splat's magic trick box. 1 chick was sitting in the paint box. Oh, ick. There were 2 chicks in the house made of snap-together bricks. There are baby chicks everywhere. Splat had found 11 chicks, but 1 was still missing. Splat was worried. Where do you think it went? Then Splat heard a pick, peck, pick. He turned around in the nick of time. There was the last chick. It picked and pecked at the basket, then it hopped away. The other chicks went with it. "Stop, chicks," said Splat. Oh no! Splat chased chicks up and chased chicks down. Uh-oh. Chicks fell in, but chicks hopped out. Wet feathers drip, drip, dripped. Splat fell into a puddle. Splat! The chicks stood all over Splat. "We'd better get to school before you run away again," said Splat. Splat led the way. The chicks followed each move. With skips and kicks, the good little chicks got to school lickety-split. Splat's class was so surprised. Instead of 12 eggs, now there were 11 chicks, said Mrs. Wimpy Dimple. "Splat, where is the missing chick?" Uh-oh. Oh no, thought Splat. But before he could get worried sick, Splat heard a cheep. Cheep, cheep. I wonder what it is. Phew, said Splat. these chicks are quick. The end. That was a fun story and a fun morning. Okay, Levi, that is 2 stories for right now, and we'll read more later. I hope you enjoy it. I love you very much. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.